All right, guys, welcome back to the Brown Balls podcast. New time, new schedule, the same old dudes. Got my best friend here, Keneal. How's it going, man? We just finished Monday Night Football. How was it?
Damn, that was a crazy game.
Yes, it
Crazy
was.
game.
Let's actually just start there because that was honestly, you and I we had our picks before going into the game, right? And I was like, yeah, the Falcons. I don't think they stand a chance against the Eagles. The Eagles just have too many weapons. I know AJ Brown was out, but I thought, and it's a Eagles home opener technically because last time they played with it was in Brazil, and they looked okay. They looked good. Saquon had nothing going today. I mean, he had 95 yards, but it didn't seem like he had a big impact in the game overall. What'd you think?
Dude, well, first of all, it's our new guest.
Oh,
yes, Dreamy.
Yes. Our first official guest. What's up, Dreamy?
Nah, but no, you know what? Let me put him down. But no, to be honest with you, I mean, Saquon started getting his running back mojo like in the second half, right? Yeah. First half, he did not exist. I think it had to do with Falcons defense, right? Yeah. But at the same time, man, like, I mean, I understand they played in Brazil that first game, and they got a close victory at that time too, week 1 against Green Bay. That was a close game. We came down to the wire as well, right? But they still got the win, right? So that was good. But man, wow, what a game today. I mean, let's talk about that last play on Eagles' position. Right? Third and 4, I think it was, whatever it was, third and something, 3rd and 2 or whatever. It was short, you know. What would you do? It was like about a minute and 45 seconds left. If they would have just ran the ball and just kind of just let the play clock wind down, I think if you look at it clockwise, I think they would have got the possession. They meaning Falcons would have got the possession around like 55 seconds because you know they run the ball, takes about a couple of seconds, and then another 45 seconds to roll down. So it'll be about 55 seconds or so, roughly. I mean, that's still a lot of time, but 55 seconds compared to a minute and 39 seconds.
Yeah. I was surprised they threw the ball there, honestly, because they got a break before that because they had it should have been a penalty, but then Sirianni waved it off. And then, Saquon dropping that pass. It's just like, dude, first of all, why are we throwing it? You know, like you intentionally let the penalty go because you wanted to drain the clock. And then they were draining the clock, and all of a sudden they started to throw it, which honestly, for any regular QB, a minute 45 is what I think they end up giving Kirk Cousins is enough time. But for Kirk Cousins, who's experienced, I'm surprised that they gave him that much time because, you know, he is a good quarterback down the stretch. That's what he's kind of also known for. He's a safe quarterback. Yeah. He's also someone that does come up in the clutch from time to time.
I mean, so he was. I mean, he's the one. He's the one who did the miracle in Minnesota with Stephon Diggs to win and go to the championship game for NFC. I mean, it was like it was a Hail Mary, and he threw that ball, and you know they scored a touchdown, right, against New Orleans. So I mean, Cousin knows pressure. He knows how to play, right? So, but I mean, this honestly, I think. Do you think that it was Eagles losing it or Falcons winning it? You tell me.
I think it was the Eagles losing it. The Eagles had no right to lose this game. They had everything in the bag. They pretty much, you know, just gave it away at the end. Because again, once Cousins got the ball, they had no rush. They did not rush the passer at all. So like they were just able to go down the field. Like within 3 plays, they were already within field goal range / within almost the end zone.
Big and it was like chunks.
Yeah. So like, and that was the story of the whole game. Like you can even hear the commentators were like, Troy Aikman was like Kirk Cousins is given all day long to throw his ball. He has not been rushed or he doesn't feel like he's pressured at all. And then all of a sudden, that's what you're going into. You should know that we're not getting anything against this guy. We should drain the clock as much as we can, give him the last time as much as we can. So why run the ball again? I feel like Sirianni does this to himself. I hate being that guy. The dude just does this. I don't know what it is. It's like an ego thing or like, oh yeah, we made a bold play. We're going to go for it. We're going to do blah, blah. I don't know what it is, but the dude just finds a way to hurt his team. And that he did it in this game as well because they should not be losing to the Falcons, man. They really should not be losing to the Falcons.
Remember, we always talk about the thing that's going to get Sirianni fired is because he wants to be him. He wants all the accolades, not the players. He after the game, if that play would have worked with Saquon and won the game, they would have said that. It would have been all about Sirianni, making a gutsy call,
right?
But when the time is right, but. didn't work out, man. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, why would you even throw the ball at that time, man? I understand that, yeah, Saquon can get, if he caught that ball, the game's over automatically,
Right.
But you're giving a 50-50 chance. Like, you literally giving that 50-50. Why not just run the ball and just don't get a first down? That's fine. But at least you drain the clock to like 50 seconds, instead of
why
30.
Don't people exactly? Why don't people learn from the Seahawks? They made the same exact mistake against Tom Brady. Like, why not just run the ball? You have Saquon Barkley, potentially number 1 or 2 running back in the freaking league, who is healthy.
And he was doing good in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And he was doing good in the fourth quarter. The whole game, Saquon was quiet. In the fourth quarter, he woke up and ended up having a lot of yardage, Yeah. So why not? Like,
I mean, and even Jalen Hurts was scrambling pretty well. He had he had 85 rush yards
in the first quarter. Remember, he ran for like 26 yards.
You have this offense. You have a potential to play smart with it. Why just try? I don't know what that play was. That was interesting. I don't know. Maybe trying to throw him off. But like, it's not like the Falcons defense is like that great or anything, honestly. So like,
but you know what,
why
though, man?
throw it off.
But that shows, right? Okay, fine. Let's run through the whole thing, right? Eagles, don't get that first down. They get the field goal. Falcons come back and score. But then this is what differentiates the Bradys, the Maddings. I mean, I got to put Matthew Stafford maybe in that conversation. With 38 seconds left, you will get to the field goal.
Yeah.
With two timeouts.
Yeah.
38 seconds is enough time to happen with 2 timeouts.
Right.
And honestly, all they have to get is like another like 35 to 40 yards, which Hurts could easily do.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do that. So with 2 timeouts, they couldn't even get to field goal range. They could have won the game too, going away. Even after messing the whole thing up, they still have 38 seconds left.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it was. I felt like once, and this is kind of what happened to the Eagles last year when they had the hot start and then they started declining. It's just like, I think the team just starts to lose faith. Like once the Falcons scored, they're just like there goes our chance. We're not gonna make it. Did you see the sense of urgency was not quite there? I don't know if it's because Jalen Hurts is not quite the leader that he needs to be, where he's like trying to pump the kind of like, hey man, we still got a lot of time.
Like 30 some seconds left, or 20
in the past have done it. Yeah. You have plenty of time still.
2 timeouts. You have 2 timeouts. So you can work the whole field. You don't have to work the corners, right? Or the edge. I mean, you can work the whole entire field with 2 timeouts. And all you have to get is like 40 more yards or maybe 35 because they have a good kicker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at home. They're doing it. So...
And his longest was 61 yards. So technically, they just need to get to the 45-yard line, I believe, something like that.
And they started off at like 25 or 30 yards.
Yeah, and only 15 yards to get to that point, and they still couldn't do it. Like, I just don't know. And then that play where he threw the interception at the end, like, this is kind of like, if you're going to throw it out of bounds, why even try to make that pass? Just throw it out. You have time. Just throw it out of bounds. He threw that. I don't know. Maybe he just thought he could probably get a Hail Mary going.
There was still 26 seconds left.
Yeah,
what was he doing?
Yeah.
They said like 20 something seconds or 15 or whatever seconds left. They still could have had another play, a 2 or so, get to field goal range, man. I mean, wow, this game, I'm shocked. Like Joe Buck said, he's seen a lot of stuff, in football, but he's never been this shocked, like the way he ended. Like the decision, it comes down to X's and O's.
Yeah.
It comes down to fundamentals of football, like run the ball. Like, I understand you want to go for a home run play and kill the game. I understand. But like, go for the right thing. Why go for a 50-50, shot when you have a 100% shot, when you can either just like give it to Saquon or you run as a QB and take a knee.
Right.
And let the clock run down,
because you need the Falcons to burn their timeouts, which they still had all 3, I believe, going into the last drive, right? So like they could have burned a timeout at least, but they didn't decide not to for some reason. I'm not sure what. And it's either Sirianni just needs to realize that he cannot be a miracle worker. He's not quite the genius maybe he thinks he is.
Yeah,
because the Eagles should be the favored in that entire division. Like they should not be losing to the Falcons. There are going to be much more difficult teams on their schedule.
Yeah,
but this is one of those gimme teams that like you should be able to beat them. I mean, the Falcons are good, but not this good.
And Falcons are still figuring things out because Kirk Cousins is a new QB for that team.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They're not used to him, And so at the same time, now you have Eagles gonna go play in New Orleans, who are red hot. Who's been scoring 40-something points every game. So that's gonna be crazy now. So pressure's on. You know, they're 1-1. You know, so man,
yeah.
So
it's this well, I think this Monday Night Football game kind of encapsulates that the entire weekend, because the entire weekend was just a bunch of upsets. Like I remember how like you and I were talking about this on Friday. We're like, oh, it's gonna be kind of a boring weekend. I feel like all the super teams are gonna just easily win, and like a lot of teams that we predicted, like I know you just said the Saints and Cowboys. I was like, oh, the Cowboys should beat them, and then the Cowboys completely got blown out.
Demolished.
So tell me about your second favorite team. What happened with them?
So shocked, man. Like I have no idea, like what happened. To be honest with you, like it reminded me of like last year's wild card game against the Packers. If you ask me, like that's exactly what happened.
At home, they ran the ball down their mouth.
And the same thing. It was at home. It was a home opener too, I think, right? And how do you not show up? How are you going to let Alvin Kamara run for 115 yards with 3 touchdowns? 20 carries. And on top of that, I mean, you have nothing to like fight against. I mean, your running backs, okay, 7 carries for Rico for 30 yards. That's it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, my gosh, man.
Kamara lit him up. He had a 57-yard touchdown, which was a passing touchdown, which like again that was a breakout play. I was surprised by this, honestly. I thought it might be close. I thought maybe week 1 the Saints won, but it was not. I'm surprised that Derek Carr looked so good too, honestly.
And at the same time, if you're Dak Prescott, it's a home opener. I mean, what happened at the wild card game? You did the same thing. 2 INTs. Last year in the wild card playoff game, you threw in the first quarter. You threw 2 INTs for touchdown. You know, like pick 6. You know, I mean, again, like I mean, how are you gonna not show up at your home game? Like, I mean, it was embarrassing, man. Like honestly, and you received that contract.
Oh yes, yeah. So
you received that contract, and you're gonna show up like that.
He won the game, the first game, right? You know, they won, and then like this one, they just completely shit the bed. Honestly, it was kind of embarrassing to see, honestly, because he throws the 2 INTs. The defense, who can't stop the run for the life of them, is not getting rest. So Alvin Kamara, who is a power back, is just running down their throats nonstop over and over again. And Derek Carr is 11 for 16, so he's hitting his targets. Like it was a recipe for disaster. Once Dak Prescott starts throwing those INTs, it's like, and again, that's my issue with him, is that he's not reliable. Like this guy,
I agree.
I don't know why he got paid this much money, because he's just not the decision maker that he needs to be for this specific franchise.
I mean, you can't come up like that. I understand. Like, I mean, it's just a regular season game, but this matters because, I mean, you can't do this you can't have this kind of performance, you know. And I mean, and at the same time, New Orleans Saints, they're not a juggernaut team, you know. I mean, David Carr is good, but he's not great. I mean, at the same time, new head coach, they're figuring things out as well too. I mean, you're coming back with the same roster for Cowboys, coming with the same roster, nothing changed,
pretty much.
You know, besides the running back core, that's it, but nothing else, you know.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, how wrong were we about NFC South? You have Tampa Bay upsetting the Detroit Lions, and then you have the Saints upsetting the Dallas Cowboys. Like, what happened there, man? And the Falcons right now doing like,
hey, maybe
3 teams,
the power conference. Who knows? They
3
might
teams
be the one
from NFC South. The one we thought that we don't know who's gonna win this division. They're just gonna be maybe 500 here and there.
Yeah,
man, they're making big time moves and upsetting teams. One of them beat Detroit Lions, which are a really good team, of course.
Yeah,
and another one beat Dallas and the Eagles. Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
insane,
surprised,
man.
honestly. I'm happy for them, because I feel like they have been looked down upon. I'm actually kind of happy for Derek Carr, because I think he's gotten a very unfair shake overall in his career, especially being a Raider. So I'm glad that he finally has a team that is able to withstand with his passing ability. So, but the Cowboys also is not going to be pretty next week, because they got the Ravens, who are hungry. They're 0-2.
Okay, so let's talk about that upset too against the Raiders. Okay. So now, let's talk about this. Let's recap that week 2. Which is the biggest upset you think that happened? Was it today's game? Was it the Dallas losing, or the Ravens losing, or other team? Whatever. I mean, Rams losing. I mean, they're the best team too. You know, just kidding.
Right. I think the biggest probably was the Cowboys because again they got blown out. I know the other games were close, like today's game was close, but the fact that they got blown out so badly, it was not even competitive. The Cowboys definitely was the biggest one. I think my second biggest was probably the Ravens because again the Ravens need to win these games. They have no excuse whatsoever to lose against the
Man,
Raiders. The Raiders are not doing anything. They have Gardner Minshew as their quarterback, man.
they couldn't even score last week against the Chargers.
That's true.
And they blew.
Yeah.
I mean, this week they freaking beat Baltimore. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, man.
Yeah. So, who do you think was the
biggest upset?
biggest upset?
You know, you'll be shocked, man. I have two teams, the two games that shocked me the craziest. I had no business losing. Was Oakland beating the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
I'm still shocked that Baltimore lost, and Baltimore, your Super Bowl pick that's going to the Super Bowl. Are 0-2, my man. 0-2.
I still believe.
They're currently fourth in their division.
Yep.
So let's see what happens. That game surprised me, and the second game that surprised me the most, man, Minnesota upsetting the Niners.
Oh yes, that's true.
I'm sorry. There's no way Minnesota should even beat the Niners with a backup QB, Sam Darnold. What are you doing? Like, if you're the Niners, how are you going to lose to a team with a second string QB playing? I mean, how are you going to lose that game? I mean, Niners are supposed to be the best team. They have actually, don't they have, I mean, after the Chiefs, I think they're the second best odds to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, second best. Yeah.
How are you going to lose to Minnesota?
They definitely missed McCaffrey. McCaffrey's going to be back for a while.
Forget it.
IR.
Who cares? No, you're still a good team, though. It's insane. You're still a good team, man. Like, I'm sorry, man.
No, I agree. I agree. They're one of this team that they should not be losing to the Vikings. Justin Jefferson was a man possessed, though. Honestly, like that's the Justin Jefferson that needs to show up every single week. I mean, I guess the Vikings are legit because the defense has gotten better. I don't know about Sam Darnold lasting very long, but yeah, I do feel like San Francisco, once they knew that the McCaffrey's not going to be back, I feel like the defense has been struggling significantly too. Their offense has been okay. I mean, Jordan Mason, back-to-back games, he's over 100 yards. Like, good for him. He's playing his role.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that, you know. But you know, I don't know, man.
Their receivers are not doing anything. Yeah,
you know, honestly, I feel okay. I knew that Justin Jefferson was ready for the Niners when he got asked during the week that did you watch the Monday night game and see how they defended Garrett Wilson, right? Or that's the name, right? The receiver from the Jets.
Yeah.
How the Niners defended him, right? And then Justin Jefferson right away said that I'm a total different player. I'm not in that level. I feel like I'm better than him.
Probably the best.
The best. Yeah. So right when he said that I'm better than Garrett Wilson, so I did not watch how they I mean, it's gonna be a completely different game how they're gonna guard me, you know. So I knew he was locked in to beat that Niners team, and he did.
Yeah,
he did. No answers, man. No answers by them at all. Like I was like, are you serious, man?
Yeah.
But that game shocked me, man. The Niners losing. I don't know, how do you lose that, man?
Yeah, and the Vikings are number one in their division. They're 2-0, and all the other teams in that division are 1-1. So like, it's surprising to see. It's one of those weekends is weird. Like what was in the water that like all these teams that like should have won by
so weird
overwhelming odds all of a sudden like just crapping the bed.
It's a trap game. It was so weird. It's a trap game, right? When you know that
week 2.
I know, but when you look at when you look into, like, for example, like maybe Eagles was looking at the Saints next week, meaning like, okay, look, we gotta be ready for them. They miscounted, playing the Falcons, right? Like right there. And same thing with Niners play the Rams. It was another trap game because Rams, everyone's injured. Like IR, put everyone's name on there if you want. And so that's another trap game for Niners too. But I'm just saying it's a trap game when you know the team is good. Why are you laughing?
The Rams got blown out 41-10 by Kyler Murray.
Bro,
the Cardinals are not good. The Cardinals are not that good.
We have their numbers, and it was a trap game for us too, because we knew that we're facing the Niners next week. Our home opener.
You're 0-2. Every game is a trap game at this point.
Look, man, that Detroit Lion game was our game. All right,
man. Watch next week when they play the Niners. You'll be like, oh yeah, they're trapping because the Niners they lost week 2, so they're hungry for it. It was a trap game for the Rams, so they're 0-3. I mean, come on, 41-10, the Rams.
Cooper Kupp got injured. I mean, that was huge. I mean, he's going on IR. We have no receivers, man. Like, we have nothing left. I don't know who's at this stage.
Just throw Jimmy G out there, man. Just throw Jimmy G. Save Stafford. Throw Jimmy G out there. Call it a season. Come back next season when everyone's healthy.
So then the stadium can get sold out by all the girls, right? Like, so Jimmy G's playing, right?
Go. It'd be like the Lakers. Just you sell the ticket not to win. You sell it to watch the show, which is Jimmy G and Sean McVay.
God,
my wife will be there every single game. I promise. There should be a season ticket holder if that happens.
For the rest of the season, dude.
Yeah, she'll be there.
Oh my God. Nah. But honestly, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know what was in the water, man. That Baltimore losing to Raiders. Damn, man. I still can't get over that they lost to the Raiders. Yeah. Raiders have no business being in that game at all.
Business, dude. The Raiders defense is good. I'll give them that. They got a lot of heart, but come on, man. Their offense is not good. He cannot do that. So, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Our picks, I mean, the Chiefs barely squeezed it out. So, what do you think of this game? So, the Chiefs and Bengals by 1.
That was not pass interference at all.
I know, dude.
That was not pass interference.
Is not scripting, man.
Dude, what the refs was right there. That was a ball bang play right there. You know, the ball was coming. He tackled him at the same. Dude, that's not pass interference. Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. I never believe these conspiracy things, but like it's weird how always the Chiefs get these weird calls at the end of the game. Like,
It kind of reminds me of the Patriots, man. When Brady's there, like you just can't beat them. There's that call that always goes against you, and they end up winning. It doesn't matter how perfect you play.
The last few minutes, you always see Tom Brady march down the field, but not
few minutes. But there's always luck included with that, man. I'm just like, come on, man. That was not pass interference. Bengals should have got that game.
Yeah,
Bengals should have got that game, and nothing more to say to that, man. They played good, man. Really good.
They did
almost perfect football. I mean, there was no business for them to even like lose like that. To be honest with you, man.
Considering how, like, you know, I mean, Burrow's a little banged up, right? And Jamar Chase didn't have the best game. He looked a little frustrated out there. So I think there are some issues developing there. Because he looks really frustrated with the calls, even just with his play, and maybe just Burrow not being able to throw the ball to him.
Or the contract situation.
The contract too, right? So like, it's not looking good. He needs to play better. I think he just needs to be more professional and just like show up. It's hard to say. I mean, obviously he wants to get his money, which I think he deserves his money by far.
Of course.
But I think at the same time he can't let all these things frustrate him because it is costing the team a little bit too.
Oh my gosh.
And but I don't know. The Chiefs getting that 1-point win, I was just like, something ain't right, man. Something is not right.
It's crazy though, man. Burrow's career, man, in the month of September, he's like 1-8.
Yeah, he's a slow starter. That's true.
It's insane.
Do you consider this was a big thing on a lot of the talking shows? Do you think Burrow's overhyped?
No, he's a good player, man. He's a really good player. He's like, honestly, he's that traditional QB that you want on your team, man. Mm-hmm. He's good, you know.
Yeah,
he reminds me so much of Peyton Manning because he's not flashy, right? He's not gonna be, you know, a player like, you know, who's gonna go out and be rah. He'll put up the numbers.
Yeah,
team will be good every year as long as you have Joe Burrow. They'll be good, you know. Like it's like a Matthew Stafford. The team's always gonna be good, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, he'll win it. Hopefully, he wins the Super Bowl, maybe 1 or 2. Hopefully. I don't know, with Mahomes being there. I don't know who the hell's going to win, to be honest. But, I mean, I think Joe Burrow is actually good, man. I mean, he's his 4th year now, right? I think 4th or 5th year. And he has proven up to, you know, that stardom that he got selected, you know? And I think he was a number 1 pick, right? I think the Bengals selected number 1, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, back in the draft. So he's everything what you need from a QB, man.
Yeah, the only thing with Joe Burrow, I think he reminds me a little bit of Andrew Luck, which is that he's a good passer, good pocket presence, really smart, really very cerebral, but he just throws his body out on the floor every single time. Like he doesn't care if he gets injured; he just wants to get the first down. He's just just dives first in, right? That's kind of the issue that Josh Allen had too, until he started to learn to be a little bit. I think that's one thing that he needs to do is become more durable, because he's very talented, very special, but his career might be shortened like how Andrew Luck's was. Because of how much he just throws his body everywhere, and his wrist is hurting, his knees are always an issue. Like, it's just always an issue with him. I think that's something that's gonna. He's always banged up. So I hope that he does find a way to.
And that's what Tom Brady did so well, that he played all the way till his 40s. Is that he was such a smart player, right?
Yeah,
he knew what he's capable of and what he shouldn't do to get injured or not to get injured, right? He's such a smart player. And he knew that, okay, like, if I didn't get that first down, fine. I can live another down later, He'll make it up, such a smart player. Like, I understand, like, this player, like, nowadays, like, they're just risking their body, like, left and right.
They want to get the highlight reel. I don't know what it is. They want to be flashy. They want to just throw the big ball. But, like, Tom Brady, that's one thing that Bill Belichick even said that he appreciated the most, is that Tom Brady did not throw the game away. If it was a bad play, no problem. We throw it away. We have another down. Or we have a good defense. Let's just go back out. We'll get back out there. No problem. Like, he did not throw the game away. Similar to how the Titans and Will Levis threw the game away, literally, against the Jets. Did you see that?
Wow, what was he doing there? What was he doing? What was he? What was that play?
Like, he's becoming a meme at this point.
What was he doing there? Like, what kind of, like, even the coach had to say, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, why would you throw the ball away like that? First of all,
yeah. So I don't know. So there's two parts. Yeah, I think he was trying to shovel past it, but he's realized
that was a backward pass.
He's not Patrick Mahomes. Like, he showed, like, shoot, I did not even get close to shoveling this thing. He just, like, dragged it on the ground and threw it forward. But one thing that I think from there, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't like the coach doing that though. Like, yelling out loud on the field is fine, right? You're upset. The play just happened. You throw the game away. Fine. Okay, I get that. But even the press conference, he says that was a stupid play. What are you thinking? No, you give up 3 points. I think, like, as a coach, that's a big no. That's not leadership. That's not how you buy in. Because even though he screwed up, that's a dumb play. But, like, you still have to develop this guy. You still have to develop the whole team. If you're gonna start calling out people after they make an idiotic play, you won't last as a coach, because their play is a reflection of him. And if that's how he's coaching, and then if they mess up and he just goes, well, it's not my fault, it's like kind of a Sirianni situation, not my fault, then you won't stick around that long, especially for a team that's rebuilding. What do you think?
I agree. I completely agree with you, man. But that's what makes Bill Belichick, right? Going back to that, right? I mean, he never once did that. Yeah. Tom Brady made some bonehead plays in early his career, Yeah. Like, what are you doing, Tom? You're telling the GOAT that, right? But he still made bonehead. But that's what makes Bill Parcells, right? I mean, like Phil Jackson, like, that's what you get, right? Honestly, there's time and place, and the time and place is in the locker room. It's not on the field, not on the court, or nothing, right? And you know what? The coach could have talked to Will Levis at the time, and he could have just be very brief with him, be like, that's not a smart move, man. Let's go. Get your head in the game. That's not a smart move. And move on. And don't make it drastic in the field, like, screaming and, like, saying all that. And then, like you said, coming to the media saying that was just a bonehead play. You don't do that. Like, you don't say that. You say that, look, because you win as a team and you lose as a team. And in the end, I'll be honest with you, losing, when you lose and win the game is always on the coach. Yeah. Not on the player. Because you're, as a coach, you are drawing up the plays. You're calling the plays. And the players are the ones who are going to execute it, right? And execution might not go perfection, like, all the time, because there's a reason why, people miss drops the ball, or something happens. The play doesn't work out. But it's fine. But at the same time, you're the one calling the play. So, like, you should take the full responsibility, saying that, look, that was a bad play called by me, and move on, and said that we'll learn from this. We played against a Hall of Famer, Rodgers. Right, and we were right with him. Defense, exactly. We were right neck and neck with them. So I mean,
it's a boneheaded play for sure. I give you that. But that's what the team meetings are for. Yeah, I know. Like, I think Edelman always shared a story about Bill Belichick. Like, he'll during team meeting, he'll pause the video, rewind it, pause it again, rewind it, pause it, and he'll look at Edelman like, Edwin, what the fuck was that? What are you doing out there? Like just call him
Exactly.
out. Tom Brady, what are you doing out there? What are you seeing over here? And then so everyone gets it. But like that's how you develop within everyone. Obviously should get scrutinized. I am all about accountability, and he should be held accountable for bad play. I just don't think it needs to be out in front of everybody, because now you're taking away that little chance of confidence that even this kid has. You're just giving it away pretty much. And I know he's a 25-year-old. He's a man, but still, like you still need to develop these players.
Second-year player, man. He was a rookie last year, I think.
Yeah, so
I mean,
he's still there.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. It's growing pains, right? But no, I completely agree with you about that, man. You shouldn't be calling out your players like that. You should just, you should present yourself in such a manner as a leader that people look up to you and be like, okay, fine. Sometimes Sean McVay does that same thing sometimes.
Yeah.
In the early career, like I want to say about 5 years ago, he used to do that a lot. He used to be very animated on the sideline. He never did anything though in the presser where he threw anyone under the bus, but like he used to do that on the fields too much, and like now he has calmed down. He has like, nah, it's fine, And so, but I agree with you, man. But that's what makes coach a great coach, to you want to play for. And that was really bad, really bad right now.
That was really bad. It was bad both ways, honestly. But don't escalate it there. Let's talk about the one of the updates for today. So we have the Carolina Panthers deciding to bench their first round pick from last year for Andy Dalton. Bryce Young. What do you think? What's on your mind for that?
Man, this is. So okay, so this is huge because the coach that's there right now, right? A first year coach. He's a coach who actually helped out Baker Mayfield when his career was down, basically at the lowest point from the Browns. He got traded to, I think, through Carolina and everything. So he helped him get back where he was. And same thing for another QB. I forgot. He was pretty down and made him into what is he now. I think it was. I want to say the Minnesota QB, but I don't want to say it. But he's a coach who can develop a player into what he's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
And so for him to be a head coach and benching the number one overall pick from last year, that's huge.
That's huge.
How do you bring him back? How do you? I mean, you got to move on from this.
Yeah.
They gave up a lot to go get him, and at the same time, you have CJ Stroud becoming the best QB from that class right now and playing well
by far.
I mean, how do you mess up? I mean, you had the number one pick. You had the choice of Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, and you went with Bryce Young, right? I mean,
I think with the Bryce Young situation, Carolina Panthers, this is a new GM and new coach. So the Bryce Young was not their pick. So they have no affinity to make this guy work. Obviously, I'm sure the franchise themselves do, and the owner probably does too. But they gave away DJ Moore to get him too, right? So there was a lot of things thrown because of this. But one thing that I always say about Bryce Young was that he was very undersized. He is not the big, the tall like CJ Stroud is, and those he's not even quite Drew Brees, who Drew Brees was a short quarterback, but he was such a big, bulky quarterback that no matter what happens, you're not gonna get to him. And they had a good offensive line for Drew Brees. They don't have a good offensive line for Bryce Young. So I just feel like the kid was thrown into a lose-lose situation. Right, he did not have a good defense last year. He did not have a good offense last year. Did not have good receivers besides Adam Thielen. There's not a lot working for him, so he has no way to improve. And this is my situation that I was telling you about Caleb Williams. You cannot throw these quarterbacks into bad teams and be like, okay, you're number one, go make it happen. CJ Stroud may just be one of those anomalies that just happened. You had no, it was a once in a generation kind of quarterback, because the quarterbacks for this year, all three first round picks, they have not scored a touchdown. Any of them. So they're not doing good, and this is kind of a warning sign to them too, because Caleb Williams might be in the same next boat. He may not do all this year because he looks really nervous, like how Bryce Young looks now. Bryce Young looks really nervous being out there, and so did Caleb Williams. You can see him; he's frustrated, he's scared whenever he gets rushed, when he gets hit down. He's just so upset. It's just gonna wear on these young kids, and it's gonna decrease their potential career, because who's gonna want to take Bryce Young now? He's so undersized.
At the same time, that's why I give Sean McVay so much credit, man. So much credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff was not his player.
Right.
It was Jeff Fisher's.
Make it work.
I mean, the GM was still there, but that's his pick, obviously. But Sean McVay took the number 1 pick, Jared Goff, from a bust. He was completely a bust. This guy couldn't throw the ball. Even though he was the number 1 pick, he couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't read the offense. He couldn't do anything, in the system, right? And Sean McVay comes in, changes his play system up, and kind of give him confidence that you need as a player. Jared Goff takes him to the Super Bowl within 2 year or 3 year span. They each other. They go to Super Bowl, lose to the Patriots, obviously, but that's what coach is there for, right? I agree. I completely agree with you that the new GM and the new coach, this wasn't their pick. I understand.
Right.
But Carolina wasn't going anywhere, right? Nowhere this year, right? I mean, the only place they were going to go this year was up, not down, right?
Right.
The only down they could have went was benching Bryce Young, which they just did. That was like the low. Yeah. Now that's going down, right? If I was the coach for Carolina Panthers, why bench him? Why not just throw him out there still? Why keep on playing him? See what you have. Because the thing is this, sooner or later, you're going to find out if Bryce Young is your player or not. Because, look, you're going to lose the game. You'll get the number 1 pick or number 2 pick again, right? But at least you played him and you know what you have in him. And you have this whole, 18 games or 17 games that he played. And you kind of have a big sample size. What if Bryce Young becomes a Jordan Love? Because Jordan Love was not good in the first half of the season. He was okay. He was a mediocre QB. He wasn't good, After that bye week, he turned out to be, he became good. He got that confidence, took him to the playoffs, and they won that series against Dallas. And they, went to the almost the championship game, but they lost to 49ers, right? So, what if, there's just growing pains and something clicks in Bryce Young after week 5 or week 6 and starts making that, that throws? Because that's what C.J. Stroud did last year, right? C.J. Stroud was struggling too in the first 5 weeks. He wasn't good. Something clicked. Everything came together. I think he got comfortable, right? Like you said, he got comfortable in the system, the way you're supposed to play, reading the plays, right? And he took him to the playoffs. So I don't know. I really don't understand why benching him right now. I understand bench him next year, right? But why right now? When he's the future and you invested so much in him and see what you have right now. Because him sitting on the bench, it's not going to do anything for you. No good.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young did not do well last year either, right? And I don't even think, honestly, this may have been the coach's call. Because when they asked the coach on Sunday, he said, Bryce Young is still our QB. So like that, I think he was okay to proceed going forward. And he must have gotten a call from the owner and be like, our ticket sales are down. Their home opener only had a 30% attendance. So it was very low. No one's going to these games. The average ticket sold for $1 something. So no one wants to go watch the Carolina Panthers. So I think that's probably what it was. It's probably more of a business decision. We need to have a competitive team out there because we need to at least keep the game close so we can sell tickets potentially, at least get a win. And Andy Dalton, who's a good backup, so that's good QB. He could potentially get you some wins, and maybe they let Bryce Young develop. Who knows? Maybe you keep Andy Dalton for a couple of years, let Bryce Young develop, and then throw him back out there. That could be an option, but the way it looks right now...
once you bench the number 1 pick, man, you can't come bring him back. You just can't. I mean, it's so rare.
Where is he going to go? You think it's the end of his career? Because who's going to want to take this guy?
He's a backup now, man. I mean, that's what's going to come out to
like
you,
Justin
right?
Fields.
Justin Fields or the guy that San Francisco drafted number 2 and went to Dallas. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah.
But the same thing. Never became a star. Never became a starter ever. I think Bryce Young, I don't know. I mean, look, you could get lucky like Baker Mayfield and not do good in Cleveland. And then you get bounced around because he didn't play good in Carolina either, Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Then he got cut by Carolina. Then Rams picked him up. He gets lucky and he played with Sean McVay. That kind of opened up his offensive juggernaut skills. And then he got that 1 year deal with Tampa. I think he replaced Brady, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he replaced Brady.
So that's a big shoe to fill. And he got that 1 year deal, and he did good last year, right?
Yeah.
And he got that big contract from Tampa, right? That could be another road, right? But I don't see him playing for Carolina. I'll be shocked if he comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only way he plays this year is if Andy Dalton gets injured, and then his backup gets injured, and then they have no choice.
He goes back out there. Yeah. Kind of like what happened to Sam Darnold. No, who is it? The one for New York where they benched him. And then
I know him.
He go back out there because Rodgers got injured. So
they had no choice.
Yeah, they have no choice.
They had no choice.
But yeah, I feel for the guy, and then I think his situation again. And that's why I told you, because Caleb will need to be very careful because his situation is very similar. The Bears are not that good of a team, and you can see his teammates are also getting very frustrated with him. DJ Moore was if you watch the game, he was very frustrated with how he was not getting the ball. The ball was getting overthrown to him. Caleb Williams couldn't get open, so he was just not fully engaged. And I think this is a situation that he's going to be falling into, because he also looked very scared. Like, he got hit a couple of times pretty bad, no doubt. And when he got up, he's just like, oh my God, I don't want to get up anymore. Like, he was so frustrated. And he had a rough game, 2 INTs.
I'm surprised with Caleb, to be honest with you. Okay, so like the first game, he had like 95 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first game. Fine, he had the jitters. Everyone has jitters. Your first game as an NFL number 1 pick, that happens. The defense won the game for them, right? The second game against CJ Stroud against the Houston Texans, I expect a little more, right?
Yeah,
I expected him to make those plays. I expected him to, at least make like throws beyond 10 yards, because they showed the stat yesterday from 0 to 10. He was able to be accurate, and he had most of his yards there. But from 10 to 20, he was like 1 for 6, and then from like 20 to 30, he was like 0 for like 4.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? You can't do that in the NFL. You just can't keep on throwing it like 10 yards. That's it. You can't do that. You got to throw down the field,
Right.
As you can see today, Kirk Cousins had to throw a 15, 25-yarder just to kind of get there, And so, I mean, I thought, that game, like yesterday, what surprised me was the defense kept them in, and Caleb could have won that game.
Yeah, he really could have. It was a very close game. The defense did.
It was a one-possession game the whole way through.
Yep.
Back and forth. It was a tie game. It was a field goal game. It was back and forth. And I really thought if Caleb could have just put it one drive together, I was hoping for that. So then today's podcast could have been great, And I could have been like, see, look, Caleb won the game, What are you gonna? But that just never happened. So that just never happened.
See, that's the ambulance right there telling you that all of your picks from last year were just emergency and terrible. Like, you had the Cowboys.
That's why Caleb going. He being all scared, getting tackled.
Caleb, yeah, exactly. Then we even talk about the Packers and Colts, right? The Packers won with their backup in Lambeau. Colts again. Anthony Richardson did not look that great. 3 INTs.
Why though?
That's his thing. He's kind of like a Dak Prescott, man. He's so unpredictable.
I don't know, man. That's insane.
So that was another one. I was surprised it was a close game. I honestly thought the Packers would have blown them out, but
you think so?
Yeah.
With Willis and whatever his name is as a backup,
Malik
really?
Willis? Yeah, because I think their coach is so much better.
Oh, I mean, yeah. That's true.
So and I don't think Anthony Richardson is as good as everyone thinks he is.
That's crazy, but yeah. But you have Jonathan Taylor, right? I mean, you have players out there for him, right? 100%. And so, but I don't know, man. He had a bad game too, but I mean, he did good, but he could have done better.
Yards, running, but it was it was a close game, but and then now all of a sudden, the number 1 QB potentially in the league is potentially Baker Mayfield. Do you agree?
Number 1 QB right now?
Yeah, by stats.
I gotta say, David Carr.
Think so?
Right now, as stats.
As far as stats go, okay.
Do you know? Until like I want to say midway till third quarter of yesterday's game, was it third quarter? I think it was third or fourth quarter. New Orleans Saints scored in every possession for the past 2 weeks. So every time they had the ball, they either got a field goal out of it or a touchdown out of it.
Yeah,
that was a ridiculous stat.
Who would have thought in week 2 we're going to be saying Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr are potentially the best QBs in the league? It's hard to believe stats wise. Again, obviously we know Mahomes is the best QB. Yeah. We know Mahomes, Burrow, right Rodgers.
Now. Yeah,
we get them. But as far as their team performances go, they look really, really good. So crazy weekend, honestly. Like it kicked off with the Dolphins and Bills. And again, we talked about this already. The Dolphins had their own situation, but just every game I was watching, I remember I couldn't watch the whole game because I was out with my family, and I'm just like, wait, the Ravens are losing? Wait, what? The Cowboys are being blown out? Like I was like, I gotta watch this. What the heck happened to these teams all of a sudden? And it was surprising to see.
Who's your surprise team? We said that who was like obviously the upset on this past weekend. overall in this 2 weeks, right? Who is a surprise team right now? Who stands out to you where you were like, wait, like
The
like
Vikings.
For me, Vikings 2-0, huh? For me, okay, see, Vikings, we know what they actually, let me say, we know who they have, right? They Justin Jefferson,
yes,
and they have Aaron Jones as a running back, which are good players.
Yep.
For me, a team that's is still shocking me are 2-0 right now. Oh no, they're not 2-0 actually. They're 1-1. New England Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost beat Seattle. I mean, they almost beat Seattle yesterday. They could have been 2-0, but they're playing good. I don't know what Mayo's doing.
yeah.
You know,
they got something brewing over there.
I thought, because to be honest with you, no offense to anybody, but like I thought New England was gonna have the worst record this year.
Yeah, same. I did. I agree.
I thought they were gonna get the number one pick.
Them or
number one
or two.
Yeah, like literally. Because I mean, Brissett, I understand, but he's a backup. But I can't name anybody on their offense or defensive side.
They got rid of their best wide receiver. They got rid of their running backs.
The pass rusher Jordan or whatever his name is. He plays for the Falcons.
Yep.
There's no one there. I don't know. New England, man, like they're 1-1, and they're playing very competitive with every team they're playing. Like they're playing with their heart. Like I'm just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean the Bills still lead that conference. I don't think Miami does well going forward because Tua's out. It'd be interesting to see if I keep thinking of Aaron Rodgers and thinking back.
Yeah.
But the Jets, if they end up continuing this streak, because they did have a good win this past week against.
Yeah, but I don't know if Jets. I don't know, man. Rodgers is one step slow right now, man. Like yesterday until third quarter, he only had like 110 yards.
Yeah. He's still getting his feet wet. I think he's still trying to like feel comfortable with everything. But I think he'll turn it around. But I do want to see how far the Patriots go because they're a little underdog team. I agree with you there.
I don't know, man, but I mean, but the Bills gonna win that for sure. But I mean, the Steelers are winning their division right now. They're 2-0.
Yeah. It's surprising. The Jaguars are 0-2. The Browns had a good win, which again
close
doesn't say much
though, man. That's a close one. I mean, they played the Jaguars, right? I think Browns, they played Jags, I think. And they barely beat them by 5. It was like 18-13. Like,
yeah, I know. It's. I'm still not sold on Watson yet, but it was a much good win for them.
Well, it was the win they were gonna get, right? It was Jaguars. I mean,
they got to get that one. So. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think today's game definitely was the one that kind of surprised me the most, honestly.
Yeah,
with the turnout, because we have a buddy who is a diehard Eagle fan, and the whole weekend we were hanging out. He's just like, the Eagles will not lose this game. I guarantee you, they will not lose this game, no matter what happens. He's like, Nick Foles is the team captain. They will not lose. Like I was just like, I don't know, man. The Falcons like don't count Kirk Cousins out. Like it's one of those things. He's weird like that. Like people always think he's not a good QB, but he's actually not that bad.
I mean, hopefully you check on that guy and see he's okay. You know, I mean, he might be on life support right now with that kind of ending right there. I mean, they had that victory like in hand and they just let it slip away. You know, so I mean,
can't believe they did that. Honestly,
gosh, man.
But yeah, so going into week 3.
Week 3, man.
Let's see. Do we have any? Well, we got the Eagles and Saints. So coming off a blowout against the Cowboys, we'll see the Saints are able to keep up with it. I do believe the Saints will win this game. Personally, what do you think?
I mean, it's at home. It's in New Orleans.
Yeah,
I agree with you. They're putting up 40. They're putting up 40 points. Yeah. Okay, fine. But to be honest, they're putting up about 35 each game. And Kamara's is running like he never ran before, you know, scoring touchdowns. I'm picking the Saints as well too, man.
Because the Eagles threw out the defense they threw out today, for sure. The Saints are going to run the ball like crazy because Kamara is one of the top
field
QB.
Day.
And Derek Carr is probably going to go throw for 400 yards on because he's probably a better QB than Kirk Cousins is, and he's just probably going to just lob it nonstop the whole game. So that will be an interesting one.
If New Orleans could beat NFC East, both teams back-to-back weekends.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be Dallas and then be Philly again. Back-to-back weekend, NFC East.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot about that team then, man. If you beat a Dallas and an Eagles team back-to-back weekends like that.
Yep. That'd be interesting.
Hard. That's hard. You can't really do that. I mean, those are two good teams right there. Beating Dallas and then you beating the Eagles. I mean,
so you have the Dallas Cowboys playing the Ravens.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then you have the Niners and the Rams. So of those 4 teams, right? I know you're a Rams fan. Of those 4 teams, Cowboys, Ravens, Niners, and Rams, which of these games is a must-win for them?
Has to be the Ravens, man.
Yeah, I agree.
They can't go 0-3. There's no way.
They cannot start 0-3.
Do you know? I think there's a stat out there. Teams they'll probably win before week 4. Until week 4. But I think if you go down 0-4, I don't think any team has made a Super Bowl. Yeah, there's a stat out there, I think. If you start off 0-4, which they haven't got there yet, they have 2 more games before it's 0-4. Mm-hmm. But if they lose, like, against the Cowboys
at home, then at Cowboys home,
Cowboys, the way they played, they're gonna be ready, man. They're gonna be ready.
It didn't look like they were ready this past weekend, but okay,
they're gonna be ready, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Ravens, this is a must win for them. Because they're not one of those teams that are like, oh, they'll be good, or they're a solid team. No, they are favored to win the championship. They're favored to win a Super Bowl. So there is no excuse for them to go 0-3.
Derrick Henry, you got all that. Exactly. You can't.
They are
go
all
down
in
0-3. Can I go?
Reigning MVP Lamar Jackson is healthy, so they have no excuse whatsoever this year.
But I do think that Niners, with Debo going on IR, is a little shell shock for them too. So I think that game might be closer. I think Niners might pull it away because Niners always have Rams' number, right. And so I do think the game will be really close. Mm-hmm. And all our receivers are on IR already if they're not ready. So, but with
McCaffrey and Cooper Kupp, so like
and our O line's IR, D line's like so. I don't know who's playing besides Matthew Stafford and Williams. You
might as well go out there and start becoming a receiver, man.
Oh my gosh, so
they'll use you
exactly right. But it'll be a close game. Niners will probably win that game in the end. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I want to see how Niners bounce back, man. But who do you think is gonna win? Now, Chiefs and Falcons, man. That's
another primetime game for the Falcons. I'm surprised by that too.
Yeah, so that's gonna be
I think the Falcons win. I believe in these Falcons. I don't know why. Something about the way they play. There's something in the air. I feel like the Chiefs have been getting away with a lot. They've been getting lucky with some of the wins. Again, I'm not saying that they don't deserve it. They definitely deserve the wins because Mahomes is playing out of his mind. But I think the Falcons have something special building, which I'm surprised by because even though I had them win the division, I think they're going to be this good or this competitive. But I do feel like the Falcons will win this. Kansas City is favored by 4.5.
They are.
So
they are.
Yeah. So it is a big one. I think the biggest favorite this week for next week rather is going to be the Niners over the Rams by 7.5. But this is pretty big. 4.5.
No, I mean,
the Commanders and
Bagels.
That's 8.
And dude, we have 2. So next week is really great. 2 Monday Nighters. Wow.
Yeah,
2 Monday Nighters. We have Jaguars at Bills, and then we have Commanders at Cincinnati.
That should be good.
Man,
I'm happy. I'm liking the schedule. I don't like the Thursday night game. We'll see the Jets versus the Patriots, but I'm excited for Monday night having two teams play.
Yeah, but this Thursday night game is gonna be good. The Patriots at the Jets.
So?
Yeah, because isn't Rodgers making his home debut finally? He's making his home debut. It's a home game, man.
Right.
And so the New York fans are going to be ready for this, right?
Yeah.
The Jets, right? So, and then I mean, it's a rival game, man. Patriots, they always go like crazy at each other, So, and Patriots are playing well. So, I mean, I want to see how that goes. And then we have 2 teams that don't know what's going to happen with that game, which is going to be the Carolina and Raiders.
Oh God!
Let's see that game.
We'll see because Dalton has to show up, right? If they can do something out of it, the Raiders, I don't know, man. It'd be fun to watch, I think, because it might just be like a game of turnovers. But it'd be interesting to see.
Okay.
Which game are you looking most forward to of all of these?
Oh man, it has to be the KC and the Falcons, or the Eagles and the Saints, man. Those 2 games are gonna. Those 2 games I'm really looking forward to, man. That game is gonna be great. Those 2 games.
I think the Cowboys, Ravens, and Eagles and Saints are probably
Cowboys and Ravens. Those 3 games are gonna be great, man. I mean, So I mean, I just can't wait. I want to see because one team needs them more than other. I mean, Eagles can't go down 1-2. Baltimore can't go down 0-3. And Raiders can't go down 1-2 either. Not Raiders, sorry. Not Raiders. Dallas can't go down 1-2 either because they're expected to make a deep run in the playoffs too. So there's a lot of factoring, going back and forth, man, with this. So I want to see.
It's shaking up to be a really, really interesting first 3 games of the season for sure, because I did not expect these kind of turnouts to be. And we know some of the teams that are really bad, which is the Giants are just bad, so they're gonna be bad the whole year. Browns will be mediocre, but some of these other teams, especially in the Ravens, not the Ravens, but Saints and the Falcons are looking really good too.
Gosh, well, man, let's see what happens.
Yeah, should be fun, man. Should be fun.
It's great.
All right. Okay, so let's call it. We are going to be doing this every single Monday from now on, because that will get the freshest take for the weekend in the past.
That just happened. Yeah,
it just happened. So like and again, a lot of the breaking news happens in the first couple of days after the game's already
Monday,
done. So
of course.
So that's why we changed it over to this. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and we will see you guys next time. Brambles out.
Yeah, peace.